Would you like to have a drink tonight?
Thank you, but as of right now, I'm sober.
No issue at all. May I ask why?
I'll show you.
I'm sober for a few years, but after that, I realized that I wanted to live a normal life and enjoy wine at dinner and other things. You know, I was able to do that for roughly 8 years.
I regret how many times I gave up because I was unable to continue.
I was at a point in my life where I felt like something had to change because my hangovers were becoming unbearable and incapacitating for the entire day. I therefore no longer performed this, and I read a book and then I was done.
I had my first beer at 11. One of my cousins gave it to me.
It's that awful thing that you hear every alcoholic talk about. And if they don't talk about it, they're lying. Like, you just become an awful human being. Like, you just, you're selfish.
Even modest alcohol consumption is harmful to the body as a whole.
For me, the story was that this had a hold on you for a long time. You'll never be able to stop this loop. You are confined by your own weakening. Any compulsive behavior we engage in or use is really addiction. To improve our own feelings, even though doing so has unfavorable effects.
For the first time, perhaps, I'm proud of myself for sticking with it instead of giving up, because it demoralizes me to be truly powerless over something so difficult and depressing.
Just cut back on your drinking after a 30-day dry spell. They're finding that people are living longer and their kidneys are being cleared out. It is possible to reverse arterial sclerosis. People are losing weight and experiencing an abundance of energy.
I knew that alcohol was generally unhealthy, but I had no idea how unhealthy it was.
I began to drink an increasing amount of alcohol. I return home from work every day. I just sit there drinking until I pass out on the couch after I start to drink. I drank and used my way through life, from the age of 15 to 24 before arriving in Boston. My addiction had gotten so bad by then that I was terrified of everything and extremely paranoid. We use it for one of two reasons: to keep things simple. Sensing something, though I wouldn't say it's difficult every day.
Especially the one I'm currently on, which is one I wish I could have taken much earlier. No more alcoholic beverages. Somehow, there is always a chance that you will ruin your life. It can enter all your body's tissues and cells. My aspirations were declining very gradually.
Our society has normalized alcohol use. You want to find something worthwhile to do with your life so that you don't get wasted and make mistakes.
I drank to find happiness and to lead the lifestyle I believed would make me happy, but it didn't. And I thought to myself one morning, I drank a lot, but I'm still not happy. What is the situation with it? During my high school years, motivational speakers would visit my school and preach against drug use. However, there was never a mention of alcohol in their speeches. I was introduced to alcohol.
Well, you might ask, why do people overindulge in alcohol? It's like asking if you enjoy alcohol is pointless.
It is deeply embedded. It's the communal cement that holds things together.
And my mother added, it's really bad.
This year, alcohol-related causes of death will claim the lives of over 3 million people worldwide. You don't want to be one of those people. She makes it sound reasonable not to do it at baby showers, christenings week, weddings, parties, funerals, barbecues, and all the festivities in between. And I'm witnessing people who are doing it act foolish.
We've been conditioned to believe that there are only two kinds of alcohol consumers. They are completely dependent on alcohol, and there are also happy, social drinkers who are occasionally a little too lightheaded and unable to control their beer. When you are intoxicated,
you do stupid things. You injure yourself. You put your health at risk. It ruins your life and is extremely difficult on those around you because you tend to lie. Yes, it is like that. Yes, but it's also fun. Indeed, it is. However, you require something superior to that.
And I burned every bridge that I had, virtually unemployable. My options had been eliminated. My life was eviscerated. My family didn't want anything to do with me. I'd lost my friendships. I had no way forward.
The truth is actually very different. It's the spectrum, and before things go too far, I strongly advise you to get off the alcohol lift.
Alcohol consumed me more and more until I eventually experienced the epiphany that people in recovery talk about. It was at this point that I reached my pain threshold and realized I could no longer continue to live this way, Back to this thesis around pain. I felt as though I had reached my breaking point and could no longer bear the suffering of my present situation and fear. My aspirations were declining very gradually. Our society normalizes alcohol use, so you should figure out something worthwhile to do with your life before getting wasted and ruining everything. The pain I was experiencing at the time outweighed the pain associated with my fear of change, and that gave me the drive to make a change. I spent 100 days living in a treatment center, which is a considerable amount of time for a rehab facility, and I took that opportunity seriously since I knew that if I did not get this right, my life would end. Though I consider myself to be a smart guy, I acknowledge that my best thinking had me practically institutionalized. If I could not learn new life skills and approaches, or acquire a toolkit of sorts, I would either end up in jail or would kill myself or someone else. As we approach the end of this year and a half, my life has significantly improved. It's an amazing thing.
And I would advise everyone viewing or listening to this that young people are under a lot of pressure to find happiness rather than necessarily drink. Going out and getting wasted, like I do, is enjoyable. I hope you have fun and luck in your endeavors. But I don't seem to be having nearly as much fun as most of my friends. So if it doesn't work for you and you wake up going, then whatever.
After that, you realize and consider it. I tell people all the time that it doesn't have to be something you do. Furthermore, it is preferable to be inaccurate and careless than accurate. In a way, it seems like all of that is forbidden. No, that would be preferable. You need adventure, dude. You must venture out and find a worthwhile endeavor for which to wake up. And you require that as an addiction's replacement.
13 drinks or more per week is considered excessive drinking. You fit into that category if you have 3 glasses of wine every night, which translates to sharing a bottle with your spouse or a friend. Additionally, an alcoholic is someone who essentially can't stop. After they start drinking frequently, they will continue to do so until they pass out or become dysfunctional. They develop into the type of person that everyone you are slurring your words. Oh my God, driving is not safe for you. They receive DUI. You did something that made your boss think that you might have to stop showing up to work. However, 13 is an excessive drinker. Women who consume 6 or more drinks per week are at a 40% increased risk of developing breast cancer. Your chance of developing breast cancer increases by up to 70% if you have up to 10 drinks. That's the only health benefit. One of the things coming out of England is research showing that people live longer if they cut back on their drinking for 30 days. They also found that this helps clear out the kidneys. It is reversing the artery sclerosis. People are, as you know, far more energetic. They're losing weight because most of the things we do that are addictions are to numb our pain, anxiety, or traumatic memories. They also numb our discomfort when we're with people in social situations because we're afraid that if we just have fun, we won't be interesting or fun enough. Instead, we're more relaxed and fun,
The main issue is that I won't enjoy my life. Something about my mother exists. She has a way of painting it as an extremely awful plan. Additionally, I had numerous uncles, second cousins, and other relatives who were all drug and alcohol addicts. As I watched them, that's not good luck. I thought to myself, very much like some real trashy white stuff. Install, I simply said no. And my mother was entering with it in poor condition. She is in my ear telling me not to do it, because you don't want to end up like that and you don't want to do it. And I'm watching idiots do it. So just go ahead and do it. When I thought I would become a parent, I wanted to ask my mother because you were so wonderful. Like I never got into trouble, and neither did my sister. We never used drugs. We never drank to excess. My sister is still the narrowest person I know.
What was your experience like when you gave it a try? Like drinking gave me the impression that I was suppressing my urge to dance on the table. I adore it the most, and it is fantastic. I simply won't allow myself to do it because it doesn't align with my desire to live an eternal life. There are simply too many drawbacks. However, it's entertaining. I understand how people get into trouble, though. It was simple for me to say, yeah, this is fun, but I can weight it against the disadvantages because I don't have an addictive personality. And did I really take too many? in contrast to many chemicals and medications that bonded to cell surfaces through receptors.
Since alcohol can enter cells directly, it has its own direct effects on them. And the main factor explaining its harmful effects is how easily it can enter so many different cells and organs. Causes significant harm to cells because ethanol is toxic to the body and needs to be changed into something else when consumed in its pure form. If you thought ethanol was bad, then acetaldehyde is even worse. Acetyl alcohol is toxic. It will destroy cells. It destroys and damages cells, but it doesn't choose which cells to destroy and damage. That's obviously a problem, and the body addresses it by converting acetaldehyde into acetate via another part of the NAD biochemical pathway. Your body can use acetate as fuel, and the conversion of ethanol to acetaldehyde and back to acetate does involve the creation of a toxic molecule. Acetaldehyde is a very toxic substance. It is crucial that your body be able to convert ethanol, acetaldehyde, and acetate to acetate very quickly, because acetaldehyde will build up in your body and cause more damage if it cannot do so quickly enough. And the liver is where it does that. The cells that make up the liver are excellent at this conversion process, but during the process, they are still exposed to acetaldehyde. As a result, the liver's cells begin to beat during the processes involved in alcohol metabolism. It's a toxic substance. It is acetaldehyde that produces the feeling of being intoxicated. I believe most people are unaware that alcohol actually acts as a poison, altering your brain circuits and causing disruptions. There is never a safe amount of alcohol to consume, and drinking anything made with garlic can be unhealthy. It is the drug that harms society the most overall. The risk increases with each additional beverage. In fact, alcohol is regarded as a Class 1 carcinogenic, or agent that causes cancer. That puts it in the same category as tobacco smoke and benzoin. The poison is what it is.
The low-risk weekly alcohol consumption was previously estimated by Canadian health authorities to be roughly dangerous. The first standard drink of the week is when your risk starts to rise. Even just 7 glasses purchased over the course of the week, your brain will begin to degenerate because of the alcohol you consumed. I was making all the wrong choices because I wanted to be a certain person. According to some of this research on the effects of alcohol, loading up to 2 drinks a week is advised. Because it is the most used drug, alcohol is considered the most harmful drug overall in Western cultures. Very few people in the world can give up anything on their own. Our primary takeaway is that minimalism is preferable. You're aware that in terms of health, less really is more. What is known about the effects of alcohol on humans? One of the main behavioral factors that contribute to health issues is alcohol consumption. And that's in addition to a few social issues and financial costs that include everything from cancer to heart and cardiovascular disease to mishaps and injuries. You know, shoving alcohol, hiding.
But the really sad statistic is that only 10% of people suffering from an alcohol use disorder seek treatment.
I hit rock bottom. I got lost in the sauce of drinking.
Out of those 10% of the people, only 1 will have any form of long-term success.
This is why I don't like alcohol, and this is why I don't like drugs, because you're not in control.
Since you are not in charge, I don't, because of substances. 90% of those who are suffering now will not seek treatment. The reason for this is that they are informed that their only options are to stop using the substance and attend meetings to live their best lives. I recall talking to Patrick one evening after he picked me up in his car. We sat there in awkward silence for a good 15 to 20 minutes.
I was there to pick up one of my friends who was going to bed eventually, and while I was waiting outside until 3 in the morning, he finally got out and got into the car. This was about his 4th or 5th time that we had not spoken to each other. As we drive home, I continue to avoid talking to him.
And he asks, "Hey Pat, how come you're not talking to me? You know, just to be honest with you, I just see that you're in pain." At last, I express my uncertainty about why I choose to do what I do, to which he replied, "You always have a choice." And we began to discuss 2 words in brief. Perspective and gratitude, he said, and those 2 words completely transformed my life. However, during our talk, I just wanted to see you get better. I have no idea what you're going through, but you seem to be in pain. And I hope you realize that life has meaning. I don't know how to support you. I don't have a strategy. He asked me who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And we just had a conversation that was human. It was a conversation between people rather than a business or one involving numbers, which is what I know from what I have seen others go to. Although it was only a relationship. I hope you can find a way to move past this and know that I love you. Do you believe that I have your best interests in mind? Do you want to be friends in the long run? Absolutely. We are a family. Would you like things to change? And the one in which I become stuck. If you are facing an addiction of any kind, you must want to change. Like how though it's difficult to admit, I wanted to change, but didn't know how. Eventually, he found a way and is now doing fantastically. You know, he's changed his life entirely. But what you said to him, that is, love and support should be known by others.
Furthermore, it is visceral because people are averse to being real. I made 2 observations regarding this. The first is true on both the conscious and subconscious level. People fear illegal and other drugs because they have helped divert attention from the personal and political issues associated with alcohol consumption. There is almost no family in Britain, if you look at an extended family that spans 3 generations, that does not have someone who is being damaged by alcohol. Politicians love to get excited about new drugs because it allows them to act against drugs without having to answer for their failure to address the issues surrounding alcohol. Alcohol through addiction via aggression. Every family in Britain is impacted by traffic accidents or becoming a victim of someone else's intoxication and aggression, but we never take responsibility for it. Right? The kind of brush it under the rug approach. We're aware that there is a problem, but we choose not to discuss it because, well, we don't know how to handle it and we feel ashamed. As a result, we have become very skilled at shoveling alcohol under the rug. We understand the pharmacology of alcohol in the brain and how it works that way. We can describe and enliven the events surrounding alcohol. As a brain scientist, understanding the workings of the brain is my main goal. So I find it exciting that alcohol is a very interesting probe of the various brain systems. We can also see changes that underlie this effect, as alcohol is relevant to a wide range of disorders, including sleep disorders, epilepsy, anxiety, depression, and depression. Alcohol is also readily available in stores and can cause significant mental changes in people.
Certain habits have the potential to become lifestyles. And while some lifestyles lead to amazing opportunities and benefits, other lifestyles can lead down very dark paths. If left unchecked, depression, anxiety, and stress can also result in some of the worst possible outcomes, such as never being able to reach your full potential, never truly having an identity or a sense of self-worth, losing all integrity and dignity, and losing yourselves. Only a few years prior, my life and I were in a very dark place. It's been said that depression stems from the incapacity to visualize the future. I was unable to see into the future. I had no idea who I was meant to be, and I was trying to be someone I wasn't while making all the wrong choices. When it came to alcohol, which I was having trouble with at the time, I made a lot of mistakes. It gradually changed from being work hard, play hard, and then have a drink, to 2 drinks to 3 drinks to a habit to a daily habit to a 24-hour habit to a very weak habit that occasionally gets lost in my own habit in certain cases. Habits that you don't want to form can turn into a way of life. Before I knew it, I was digging myself out of a hole every year I looked around. I had lost myself and had descended into a low opinion of myself. I had a lot of struggles, and no one knew that I had reached my lowest point, almost losing my job until I was almost there. Some friends had to put up with my drama, and other people and I had to have some difficult talks. I was hurting on the inside, and I had no idea that I was hurting other people. Thank you.